Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today is going to be different. We're not going to be doing a full face of brand new makeup like always or a full face of a certain brand. Today I'm just going to show you guys how I like to perfect my skin, the products that I like to use, and just basically showing you a little bit of my techniques when it comes to my daily no makeup, natural makeup type of look. I hope you guys enjoy, but before we get started, if you guys like this video, don't forget to like my video. Also subscribe to my channel. If you guys want to see more content from me, you guys can follow me on any social media at Danieslvibe on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, so I went ahead and zoomed you guys in. We're gonna first start off with priming the face. Now with primer, here I have this Super Base Vitamin Base Primer, and this is from Revolution. This is a dupe to the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. It's a really good dupe. I've tried the Bobbi Brown, and yes, this, if you're looking to save coin, highly recommend this one. It's only $10. Let me grab a mirror. Now for priming the face, when it comes to just perfecting your skin and just having that no makeup type of look, I definitely want to go with something that is gonna be hydrating, but not too hydrating where my skin's gonna be looking like a grease ball, or it's gonna be looking dewy, you know, or oily. This one just gives a really nice natural hydrated finish to the skin. It somewhat softens the look of your pores. It is a pretty thick formula, but as you're blending it into the skin, your pores just like, it sinks right into your skin really nicely. And again, look, it doesn't leave my skin looking greasy, oily. It just gives it a really nice hydrated look with a really skin-like finish. Now the most important part of having that no makeup type of look, natural look, perfected skin look, is just having, if you wear foundation, that's good. I don't wear foundation, I wear concealer only. I don't really have problematic skin, so I wear very minimal coverage. So I definitely recommend you to have 2 shades of a concealer or a foundation on hand, one that's very close to your skin tone, and then one that you can use to brighten the under eye or places in your face that you want to brighten. So here I have the Merit Minimalistic foundation, and I have it in the shade Sand, and I have it in the shade Bisque. Now Sand is this one right here, the darker one, and then this one's Bisque. Bisque is definitely a brightening under the eye type of shade, and then Sand is definitely a really good skin match. So for me, I really don't have too much of a dark under eye, but I do like a brightening effect under the eye, so I'm going to go in with Bisque, the lighter shade, to just give a more brightening effect on the under eye. I also like to brighten right here in between my forehead, in the middle of my forehead, so I'll just do like a little stripe there. I like to brighten the bridge of my nose as well. And those are typically the only places that I like to brighten: under the eyes, on my forehead, the bridge of my nose, also the side of my eyes. I tend to get like just like some shadow or redness going on, so I like to hide that, conceal that. Now I'm gonna go in with Sand, which is a more skin-like finish, a more skin-like tone, a more skin-like shade, whatever, you get the point. So I have a couple of blemishes. We're gonna go in with Sand. I have one blemish here that's finally healing. It's a big pimple, so we're gonna go ahead and apply some there. I also got this new one here, which we're not gonna talk about it. Let's just cover it. And I have this here too. I also like to conceal anywhere I shave because I do get a shadow. So we're gonna go ahead and do that exactly. Now we're gonna go ahead and blend. What I like to do first is blend with always my hands. I feel like that just melts the product onto your skin just more nicely, and it just yeah, it gives a more skin-like finish. And yeah, I just like to blend with my fingers. There's no better blend than using your hands. Honestly, there's days where I don't use brushes at all. I just use my hands. So you never want to use a lighter shade for your blemishes, because you're just gonna, it's gonna look like you have makeup. Your blemish is gonna end up looking worse. You definitely, if you want to conceal any blemishes, perfect the skin, you want to go in with something that's closest to your skin color. And I love these minimalist sticks. Like, just the finish. That's another thing, the finish of the concealer. If you want a natural look, you don't want something that's going to be too hydrating, that's going to look really dewy, that's going to move around throughout the day. You also don't want something that's too dry, because it's just going to look very matte. It's going to end up flaking up, or sticking to certain spots in your face. Maybe you have a dry patch or whatnot. So you always want to go with something in between. And the Merit Minimalist Stick is just the perfect in between. It's just such a really nice skin-like finish. It has blurring properties to it as well. I highly recommend it. And that's it for base. As you guys can see, my skin looks like skin. It looks perfected. It doesn't look oily, it doesn't look greasy, it doesn't look too dewy, it doesn't look dry. It just has this really skin-like, soft focus finish to my complexion. And then now, once I'm done blending with the fingers or with the hands, I also don't mind grabbing a brush just to make sure that I blended everything nicely. There's no harsh lines, because trust me, that will happen. So you always want to make sure you finish it off with a brush, just in case you forgot to blend someplace. Now we're gonna move on to brows. I'm gonna make this really quick because the brows is the most boring part of any tutorial. For brows, again, this Merit Brow Pomade is really good. It has a very soft finish formula. Don't know if that made sense. I don't think it did, but the formula is just, it's not too wet, it's not too dry, it doesn't flake up. It gives your brows, a nice hold, nothing too crazy. It's just a very natural looking pomade. And the name of this pomade is 1980, I believe. And is it the 1980? Yeah, I believe it's called the 1980, I think, or 1808. I don't know. I'll link it in the description box. They do have tinted ones, and as you guys can see, just my brows just look in place. Has a natural finish. It doesn't look wet. It doesn't look laminated, because again, that just doesn't look natural. I just like to fluff up the brows and just lift them up a little bit, and this does the perfect job. I do have a clear one. This one I believe is limited edition. I'm hoping that they're gonna make it permanent. I'm pretty sure they will, just probably toward the end. I'm sure they will, because this formula on their clear shade is really nice. Me, that I have thick brows, I really don't need like a tinted one, but if you do have thin brows, then they do have a tinted one. Now, to fill in the brows, you want to go in here. I have the Kosas, and this is the, what's the name, Brow Pop, and I have it in the shade Brown Black. And so you want to get something that's not going to be too dark, too black, and this just has the softest black shade with a little bit of brown. And I again have really thick brows, and I don't fill them in as much, just anywhere where I had some scars, That's the only place where I like to fill in my brows. But besides that, just because I like my brows to have a natural finish and a natural look to them, I don't fill them in too much. So that's pretty much where I'll leave the, filling in the brows. And you just want to make sure you brush them. You want to make sure that don't over apply product, because you don't want your brows to look too pitch black, and you just don't want them to look unnatural, because your brows is like one of the first things that people see. They're just bold, they're right there. And especially for me, because I have really thick brows, and they're like really arched, and so I just need to make sure I don't go too heavy on brow products, because my brows will end up looking really bold and just not cool looking at all. Now for lips, if you want to add some color to your lips, let's say your lips just are looking dead that day, you can always go with like a staining lip product. And here I have the Victoria Beckham, and this is their Bitten lip in the shade Poupette. I do have a more is more of a bitten lip. I know the name is called Bitten lip, but yeah, it looks like you bit your lip because it's like a reddish brownish type of shade. This is more of a peachy warm shade, as you guys can see. This formula from Victoria Beckham, the Bitten lip, is just perfection. And this formula is really thin and it feels really wet. As you guys can see, my lips are already starting to look bright, more fresh, and it really just brings life to your face. Really freshens up the look of your face. Now we're gonna move on to contour. Now contour, just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna be doing contour and bronzer, but I never really do both. I only do one or the other. During summer, I only bronze up the face. I don't like really doing contour. During the winter, when my skin is looking pale, then I like to use contour. I like that definition look. And for contour, you want to go with something that's not too cool tone, just depending on your skin tone. But you definitely want to go with a cooler shade, but nothing too cool, because you don't want it to look, it can look unnatural very quick. And for contour, you just want to contour the places where you want, your face to look a little bit more snatched, a little bit more defined. And for me, it would be the cheekbone, so I like to apply right there, right here on my forehead, on my neck, and then I also like to contour the nose, place them a little bit here on the bottom. And the contouring is just can be very particular to your face structure. I also like to apply a little bit of contour on the eyes. And yeah, so this shade, let me swatch it, is just the perfect cool tone bronzer for my skin tone. It's not too ashy, it's not too gray looking, and it's not brown. So it's just gonna give me the nicest shadow on my face. And by the way, this is the Westman Atelier face trace in the shade Biscuit. Now to blend contour, what I like to do is grab a little bit more of a denser brush and just contour. You don't want to move it all around your face like bronzer, and I tend to make that mistake sometimes, but you just want to focus the contour where you placed it and just blend. And even though it might seem like it's not giving the most effect, trust me, it really does make a difference. And then here I just want to blend. And again, as you see, I blended where I placed the contour there. That's all, the only area that I'm blending it. I'm not moving it anywhere else on my face. Because again, a contour is cool tone, so with a cool tone shade, you can start looking ashy right away. So again, I'm just blending where I place the contour. And yeah, I like to place contour on my neck because it just gives me a little bit more definition there. And the reason I'm doing this video, guys, is because I don't know what happened to my YouTube channel, but you know, I look back at it and it's nothing but new makeup, a full brand review, you know, full face of a certain brand. And I really haven't been showing, you know, the people who follow me on YouTube my techniques or how I apply makeup, or, you know, there's probably people out there that don't know how to apply makeup. And yeah, I want to make sure I'm showing my techniques, what works for me, what I've learned throughout the years, you know, applying makeup to my face, and just give that knowledge to anybody else out there. Because I know 5 years ago, I was looking at YouTube videos on how to apply contour, how to apply bronzer, blush, all of that. So I hope this helps somebody out there. And if it does, I want to know in the comments. Let me know if you guys have any techniques for me that you guys want to share with me, or maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me know in the comments. I'm always open to hearing your thoughts. And to blend the contour on the nose, what I like to do is grab a smaller brush that's somewhat dense still and has like a little bit of a angle to it. This is the NARS brush, and this is the brush 41. And I really love this brush for blending my nose contour. It just fits perfectly for the nose contour. Now moving on to my favorite part, blush. Now for blush, I honestly wear every shade except for obviously green or blue or anything like that. But I like to wear a peachy blush, a pink blush, a mauvey, however you pronounce that, red, terracotta. I like to wear all of the shades. Don't shy away from wearing whatever shade you want to wear when it comes to blush. I feel like that's the one makeup product that you can get away with. Obviously, you don't want to over apply. So let me just show you some shades here, and let me just talk about them really quick. So here we have the About Face, and this is in the shade Cheek Freak. So here's Cheek Freak. As you guys can see, that looks very intimidating. Era Perez, and this is in the shade Healthy. Now this shade is definitely a natural type of flush blush for my skin tone. Here we have the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Matte Beauty Blush, and this is in the shade Dream Pop. And this is how Dream Pop looks. So it's a bright reddish shade. Mauve Beauty, this is in the shade M74. This is like a rosy, brickish type of red shade. And here we have another shade from About Face. This is the shade Smash, and that is like a reddish, yeah, it's a little bit more red than the Mauve Beauty blush. But as all of these shades, I can tell you, I can wear them. I can go to the grocery stores with any of these shades, and people will not know that I'm wearing blush because of how I apply it and how I've learned how to apply blush, and in the most natural way. Now, so when it comes to blush, what I like to do, so I'm just gonna grab some from here, and I'm gonna grab the most intimidating shade because I want to show you how, don't be scared of using whatever type of blush shade you want to use. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of this and we're gonna start off with that. And where I like to place blush is everywhere on the face. That way it really looks natural because you blush everywhere, naturally. So we're gonna go ahead and apply some here, apply a little bit there, then we're gonna apply some on the nose, we're gonna apply some on the forehead, we're gonna apply some on the neck. Where else? I like to bring it a little bit on the eyes as well. And I just like to just start blending and make sure you blend it in nicely. You want to make sure you press blush into your skin. You don't want to let it sit on your face because that's just like a dead giveaway, you know, that you're wearing blush. But as you guys can see, it's doesn't look like I'm wearing blush. It looks like I'm naturally flushing. And that's just because, you know, I'm placing blush everywhere. Let's say if I were to wear this shade just on my cheeks, right? And I start blushing my actual blush color, then I'm gonna blush different shades everywhere. And yeah, it's gonna look like I'm wearing a very bright pink blush. But because I'm applying it everywhere on the face, you know, it kind of tricks the eye of whoever's, you know, looking at you, because they're seeing this shade everywhere on your face. And again, with blush, you just don't want to over apply, because then you can just end up looking like a clown. But yes, blush is probably one of my favorite things when it comes to makeup, and I don't shy away from it. I don't shy from any shade. And yeah, I love blush. It's just my favorite, makes me happy. And that's that. We're gonna leave blush at that. Now we're gonna move on to bronzer, and here I have the Victoria Beckham, and this is their bronzing brick in the shade 3. What's cool about the Victoria Beckham bronzer is that it has 2 shades. One's supposed to be for contour, one's supposed to be for bronzing, but honestly, they're kind of both bronzing shades. But it's a really nice bronzer. It's pigmented, but it blends nicely. And yeah, my mirror is really dirty, so I'm going to be using another mirror. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some with this fluffy brush from Smashbox. Don't think they make it anymore, sorry. And I just like to grab both. I'm going to go ahead and tap them off. Now, sorry if that was noisy. I'm just going to tap some off. Now, with bronzer, you definitely want to get something that's warm. Nothing too warm, nothing orange. For me, when it comes to bronzer, I love a really nice brown or something that has a red undertone. And this one, I believe it does have some red to it, so it does look really nice. And see how the bronzer, I'm bringing it everywhere, but I'm keeping it on the perimeter of my face. You can definitely bring it bronzer across the face, but you just want to be a little bit more precise when you're bringing it into the center of the face. Okay, now we're going to bring it on the center of the face, and that is where you want to make sure you're tapping off any excess product, or you're not applying excess product to the center of the face. So lightly, we're going to bring it on the center of the face just to warm up everything and just give a cohesive look all over the face. And as you guys can see, my skin, the skin is looking so good, so supple, juicy, soft focus, fresh. Loving how this is coming out, and I'm happy because, again, this is the reason I did this video, because I want to make sure I'm giving knowledge, not just doing full face of new makeup like I've always been doing for the past, I don't know how many months, ever since I started receiving PR. I just kind of lost, and you know, things start stacking up, so I just want to make sure the products that I'm being sent, I'm, you know, demonstrating them on YouTube or on my social media. But with that, I had forgotten, you know, about, you know, showing technique, showing how to apply makeup. Now we're going to move on to highlighter. And highlighter, here I have the Candlelight from Trinny London. And sorry about that, guys. So this is called the Right Light, and I have it in the shade Candlelight. And this shade is just such a beautiful, it has a slight peachiness, but it's more, definitely more champagne-y. But it's very natural. I have it swatched. Let me do a heavy swatch. So there we go. Oh, there you see it. So it's right here, right here. And you can see if I shift there. But this does have a set down. For highlighter for me, I like to place it on the top of my cheekbones. And this one has a powdery finish. It sets down really nicely. It's undetectable. It doesn't have any glitter particles. It's just really gives you that lit from within type of glow. This is definitely something that I'm gonna be using forever because it's a thin formula. It's not oily, it's not greasy. Yeah, so for highlighter, if you want something for no makeup, you want something that's very lightweight, something that's gonna set down, that's gonna last you for a while, that you're not gonna be able to see any glitter particles, you're not gonna be looking like a disco ball. And yeah, I like to keep it, again, on my cheekbones, brow bone, top of my brow. I also like to apply on the bridge of my nose. It's just such a beautiful formula. This is just chef's kiss. Now I know we did lip color. Now if you want something a little bit more hydrating, I would definitely recommend going in with a lip oil. There's a lot of really good lip oils out there. I recommend the Merit lip oil, and this is their clear one. This is the shade Bel Air. It's a very thin formula. They have tinted ones. They have like really sheer tinted ones, and they have also pigmented tinted ones. This one is, again, just clear, and it has a very light, it's a very light formula. It doesn't move around. It's a very thin formula, and it doesn't feel goopy or heavy on the lips, and it doesn't give that effect as well. It just gives a really nice, wet looking finish to your lips, but nothing crazy, nothing detectable. Your lips just look hydrated. Now the last product that we're going to talk about is powder, and here I have the Westman Atelier, and this is their Vital Pressed Skin Powder, and this is in the shade Bubble. This is supposed to give a brightening effect to the face, but it to me honestly has no pigment. It's really translucent, and I love this powder. I rave about it. I talk about it constantly on a lot of my videos. I use it in a lot of my Instagram, TikTok videos as well. It's just a beautiful, lightweight. It has some blurring properties. I'm gonna grab this big fluffy brush from Jones Road. This is their bronzer brush. It's very, it's really nice for all over the face. So I'm just gonna grab some, and this powder has some skincare benefits as well, so it's just a plus. But yeah, again, this powder is just very lightweight. It has some blurring properties, nothing too crazy, and again, it has no pigment to it, so it's not going to change the shade of whatever products you apply to your skin. And yeah, it just feels nice on the skin. It looks nice under the eyes as well, and it doesn't remove any glow. It does bring down the shininess, but you can still see that glow from your products. So it doesn't dim that to glow. If you want something a little bit more matte, then yeah, definitely go for not this powder. And we're gonna go with a smaller brush. This is the Wayne Goss Air Brush, yes. And this brush, I use it to apply powder under the eyes. The technique when it comes to powders, you just want something that's going to be lightweight, something that's not going to have any pigment, something that, it's just not going to sell in your face. And this is exactly what this powder is a really nice powder. It's just very natural. Yeah, and that was the last product. So I went ahead and zoomed you guys out a little bit. The face is looking really good. Skin looks perfected. Doesn't really look like I'm wearing makeup. It really doesn't. And just looks really natural. Lips look hydrated. Brows look in place. I just look really put together. This is the definition of a no makeup look. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned from my techniques. If you guys took a little bit of information and you guys can apply it towards with your makeup routine, awesome. Let me know in the comment section. Also, if you guys have any tips for me, let me know as well. I'll be linking everything I used in the description box. If you guys want to follow me for more content, you guys can follow me on any social media at Danieslvibe on Instagram and TikTok. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like my video. Also, subscribe to my channel. And that does it. I'm done with you guys. Bye.